So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name is Nick Bryant, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Thomas Newt from BetterGov.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Very well, thank you, Nick. Yourself?
Very well. Good to see you.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. So BetterGov are public sector specialists. They provide data and digital transformation within the public sector. But tell us who they are, Tom. Tell us who BetterGov are.
Sure. So we are a technology consultancy that specialise in the public sector. We were formed about 7 years ago from a couple of consultants that specialised in social care IT implementations within councils. The guys were very well known in the market, were acting as independent contractors, and they thought, you know what, we're doing a really good job here. Why don't we come together and offer our services out and take sort of the reputation that they'd built up over sort of 15 years of implementing these case management systems into councils. Since then, we've really just grown organically, I think really due to the reputation of the consultants and sort of the work that they've been doing in local government, supporting councils, and we've then spread out really into sort of the NHS and central government really. So we only focus on the public sector and that is our sort of niche, I suppose, in that area.
Okay. So just to get down to the nitty and gritty then, so what do they actually do? The process?
Well, I think we
Maybe
get asked
from
that.
Start to beginning, I don't know, tell me.
Yeah, of course. I think I get asked this all the time
Yes.
from friends and family. So what do you actually do,
Yeah.
Tom? So we're a technical delivery partner and systems implementation consultancy. So what that means is we allow our public sector clients to deliver projects and programs across digital data and technology. So for instance, within councils, we go in and we help them implement their case management systems, so their adults, children's financial systems, etc., which is really important, to make sure that the social workers out there have their IT equipment working and they have access to the systems, because that affects people's lives. We work with the NHS, helping them implement their clinical systems. So when you go in, the electronic patient record systems, etc., that all the data is stored on, we provide teams to the NHS to help them with that. Within central government, I suppose the easiest example is that, if you think back in the day when you used to apply for like a driving license, it always used to be paper, whereas now it's all online. And I think people look at the government websites and they think, oh, this is all just one website. I think, for all the different government departments, but actually what they don't realise is that it's very separate, and each of these portals that you log on to apply for a driving license or to apply for funding, for anything, is all built on a digital platform. And so we provide that government department with the team to be able to deliver that, or build that product effectively to then take that out to the wider sort of users really. Right. So really interesting bits of work, very, very broad in regards to sort of the technology that we cover, and also sort of the client range really.
That explains it quite clearly, because now I think of the driving license or even the passport or something like that. There's a big team behind putting that together, and obviously that's where you guys come in, putting that into place.
Yeah, I think people don't realise really sort of, you have access to all these systems and all these, portals and whatnot, but actually it's the technology behind those that allows you to apply for your passport online rather than have to send in 5 forms now and all of that. So it's really sort of advancing, and it is that digital transformation, the technology piece, and getting that to really work for the users, which is it's really interesting to work on, because the stuff that we're doing and that our teams are doing is having a real sort of effect on what people do day to day really.
Changes people's lives, as we said earlier. Yes.
Exactly.
So I suspect that all those things come with their problems and their issues that you have to face, and the support you have to give afterwards, as well as going through it. Is that right? Yeah,
absolutely. And I think we'll touch on it obviously later, but a big bit for us is making sure that our clients really feel supported by our team. So we really ingrain ourselves within our clients. We want them to be able to pick up the phone, drop us an email whenever they feel like there's an issue. We had a team working late last night till sort of midnight, 1 p.m. to help one of our big government department clients go live with the system. And so, it's just going above and beyond really to make sure that, people are covered and supported.
So how did you get into it? Tell us how you joined BetterGov. What was your role?
Yeah, of course. So I've been working in the public sector for sort of 10 plus years now. So I started off my career supporting the NHS with medical secretaries and whatnot, and then grew into IT. So I've got I'm not technical myself, but I've got a very good technical understanding in regards to sort of, the build of an IT team and a digital team these days, with sort of all of the latest job titles and whatnot that come into it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed working closely with clients, but my previous role was very transactional in that, and I got to work with clients, but I didn't really get to work very closely with clients, and sort of the people that I was providing my clients with, I had no real control over sort of what they were doing or the outcomes of their work. And for me, it was looking at that next step and moving to a consultancy that was actually delivering the projects and programs themselves was sort of the next logical step for me. So I joined BetterGov. The brand really drew me to BetterGov, just the one that they've got in the market. I love the name as well. That really helps. And we get a lot of nice comments about the name of the business as well, which is helpful. And it was taking all of that knowledge that I had from working within central government and the NHS and sort of adding that to the toolkits of what BetterGov had already, really. So my role here really is to look after all key client accounts for BetterGov, the client engagement piece, making sure that the clients are getting exactly what they need from us. And then from an internal point of view, that means looking after all of our resourcing function, the project planning and people planning that comes along with that. So just making sure that we've got the right people in place to help support our clients and deliver those programs, really. So, successfully, which is the main thing, hopefully.
Now, you guys are based in Tunbridge Wells, your office, isn't it? But BetterGov are based, have got offices in London, or?
We did. We did have an office in London, but obviously due to the pandemic and sort of the workforce shifted, obviously, in regards to that. So we ended up closing the office in London. To be fair, most of our consultants are remote now. Everyone's remote, so there's no real need to go into the office. I've always enjoyed going into the office, and colleagues of mine that I work with, luckily in sort of the Kent area, we like being in an office. So the logical step was, let's open like a little hub that we can all come in and work from, really. So we are keen to grow out a big presence in Tunbridge Wells as well.
Okay. So there's obviously other companies out there that do what you do. Tell us what sets you apart and why should people use you?
That's a good question, Nick.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I think there's a number of reasons why clients seem to keep coming back to us anyway, and the feedback seems really positive. Because we're a smaller organisation, we're very responsive. We can act very quickly. We can deploy teams very, very quickly for our clients. Really just depends on how long it takes them to get the IT equipment set up, which unfortunately central government can take a couple of weeks, and depending on the level of security clearance. We're very flexible in our engagement and our delivery options as well, Nick, which I think makes us stand out. So, we have the traditional consultancy model where we deliver work packages and statement of works. But what we recognise is that not all clients wanted to relinquish, complete control of projects, and some of them still like to have a little bit of control there themselves. So what we also do is then provide our clients with teams from BetterGov. We call it our teams as a service model. And what that means is you're still getting the same amount of governance and quality assurance that you would get if we were completely looking after the project, but you're having a little bit more control over maybe sort of what the team are doing, basically. And these teams are multidisciplinary and they slot in nicely to the internal staff from our client's point of view. Obviously, the sort of the making it better piece, so for us, we do a lot of agile coaching. We look at diversity and inclusion training as well, a big piece around culture. So it's not just the technology implementations, it's also the softer people side of things that we also help support our clients with as well, which is really important. I think we provide a good cost-effective solution as well, because we're not like some of the bigger boys. We can really add good value for money, and we can still offer the same service in regards to sort of the people that we have. We're very confident with our internal team here and the capabilities they have, whilst being as I said, good value for money. Key thing for us is always, as well, is leaving the client in a better place. You hear some horror stories, unfortunately, in the market, very much like you have a bad plumber or a bad electrician. There are bad consultancies out there where they'll go into, and clients will have people on site. They spend a lot of money on consulting, and it's taxpayers' money. So you really have to make sure, how it's being used is wise. And they just don't know, what people have done previously. And so for us, it's about when we come into a client, it's about how do we make this better internally, both at the time that we're there and then externally for them afterwards. So, we do a lot of work around the upskilling of teams in place. So always a big part of our contract is making sure that they know that, we're going to be, knowledge dumping, from our guys, onto the team there. And that leads back into the sort of the culture piece as well. So when you're implementing a new system, it's really important to get the culture right, because not everyone likes new technology, unfortunately, these days. So for us, the value that we're adding is just making sure that we leave a legacy there. We want to leave our clients in a better place than when we found them, and we want them to continue being able to deliver that work, long after we've gone. Obviously we won't want the repeat business if things have gone wrong, but we try and make sure it works well in the first instance, and then we get asked back to do something else afterwards, which is key.
Yeah. I think the one of the important things which you touched on earlier is the change in lives thing. People don't realise that the work that you put behind the scenes to get these products in place for the public sector is going to make people's lives easier. So that follows on to providing the social value that we spoke about earlier. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I think social value is really important to us. Being able to, a lot, as you said, a lot of the work that we do is really giving back and making sure that people's lives are affected by it. If there's a bad social care system implemented, that can affect vulnerable children as well as adults. If a government department doesn't get their systems in place correctly, that could affect people, say with pensions and things like that. So yeah, from a social point of view, we always like to support the organisation within that local community as well. So with some of the councils that we work in, we support sort of local schools with providing IT equipment. So we will help source with that. We do a lot of mentoring.
Yes.
We work with the Kent Foundation, which are brilliant, and they help young people who are wanting to get into business, and startups, very entrepreneurial, that might not have the backing or the advice or the guidance. So we do a lot with them as well, just to help out. We've recently just announced that we're working very closely with a charity based in Tunbridge Wells, which is great to do, and
they
great
are called
Mental Health Resource. They're called. Yes, they do a lot in the community. We've all signed up to help be volunteers as well within that. Really, some of the work that they do really is great for people that are at home and vulnerable and haven't got anyone around them to help. So being able to give back as well as supporting the clients is really key for us. And we've got some good charity events coming up for the year that I'm a bit nervous about, but
you've got to jump out of an aeroplane, have you?
No, not an airplane. Luckily, I think that one is definitely off. But we've got some really good stuff lined up for the year, and we're really excited to see sort of what we can do, for the wider community. Really.
Great, we'll watch that space.
Yeah.
So, what about the future? What is the future of BetterGov? Where are you going with it?
Growth, we're really excited. We are rapidly expanding. We are, as I said, getting a lot of clients that are coming back to us wanting more and more and more, which is brilliant. So for us, it's about looking at the internal team that we've got here to expand. So we're always very keen to speak to good people, that might be looking for a new opportunity. We're going to be opening up new hubs, across the country. So we're doing a lot of work in Wales and in the north at the moment. So for us, it's about creating a presence in these areas where there is a lot of work, and I do think that people will go back to the offices at some point, and it's nice to be able to have sort of more regional hubs from there. From a client point of view, real growth areas for us across health and central government. There's a lot of work going on within those areas, especially across digital transformation. So from a client point of view, really exciting sort of growth points as well as internally here at BetterGov. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I mean, I think digital transformation at the moment is quite a hot topic on everyone's lips, because it's something that everyone needs. They need to get into the new world. So I think what you're doing is great. And thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us today, Tom. It's been great. I mean, I've learned a lot about what you do, and I hope everyone else has too. So. If you ever need any information from Tom about BetterGov or the team, then please get in touch. All their details will be on this podcast. And I thank you, and we'll be joined again for another one soon. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, Nick.
Bye.